And just finally from me, we learned that next year there's going to be a new major in the PDC.
In Germany,
What we don't know anything more about it, the format. We know that you maybe like different formats. Is there anything that you've not played in?
I think it's the same format as the UK Open.
Germany already knows how to throw a darts party. 20,000 fans packing out an arena in Munich, a television major every autumn in Dortmund, sold out European Tour weekends one after another. The German darts boom is one of the biggest stories in the sport, but there has always been a missing rung on the ladder. A player throwing at their local club had no real road to any of it. Now the PDC has confirmed a brand new major tournament, and this one comes with a door marked for amateurs. A door that leads all the way from a weekday night at your local venue to a professional television stage. There is just one strange twist. The organisers have confirmed the tournament exists. They have not yet told anyone its name, and the darts world has already decided what to call it anyway. Stay with me, because separating what we actually know from what everyone is guessing is the whole story here. Let me start with the part that is solid, because it matters that we build on firm ground. In early July 2026, PDC Europe launched a completely new tournament series. The name is PDC Europe Start, often shortened to PDC Start. It is aimed squarely at amateur players in 5 countries: Germany, Austria, Switzerland, Liechtenstein, and Luxembourg. The idea behind it is simple and honestly overdue. It gives ordinary club players a structured, competitive ladder to climb. You start at your local venue, and, in theory, you keep climbing. Here is how the series is built, and every number in this part comes straight from PDC Europe's own announcement. The region is divided into 8 zones. 4 of them are in Germany: North, South, East, and West, with Luxembourg folded into the West region. Austria has 2 zones, Switzerland has 2, with Liechtenstein included on the Swiss side. Inside each of those 8 regions, clubs host regular ranking tournaments. Play runs over 10 weeks. Usually it is one evening a week, on a weekday, starting around 6 in the evening. Real venues are already involved, places like a dart center in Freiburg or a dart hall in Leipzig. Every result earns points on your regional ranking list. Take part in an event, you earn 2 points. Reach the knockout phase, you earn 18 more. Win beyond that, and it is 20 points per victory. Your best 10 results are the ones that count, so consistency over the season is rewarded rather than a single lucky night. At the end of the regular season, the top 32 players in each region qualify for that region's finals. Those finals crown one regional champion per zone. 8 regions, 8 champions. The barrier to entry is deliberately low. €6 per tournament, a €10 membership for the season. You need to live in the region and be at least 12 years old to play, and 16 to compete in the regional finals. Across the whole series, the total prize money is €40,000, and there is a plan to grow it. From 2027, PDC Europe intends to expand the concept to 3 full series per year instead of 1. That is the organisation signalling this is not a one-off experiment, it is meant to become permanent infrastructure. So that is the foundation. A new amateur ladder, 8 regions, 8 champions, all confirmed. Now here is where it gets interesting. Those 8 regional champions are not just playing for a trophy and bragging rights, they are playing for a place in something bigger. In PDC Europe's own words, the centerpiece of the whole series is what they call a direct major perspective. Each regional champion qualifies for a newly created PDC major tournament. Read that again, because it is the single most important confirmed fact in this entire story. A new PDC major tournament, officially acknowledged, in writing, from the organizer. That is genuinely a big deal. Majors are the summit of professional darts. They carry the biggest prize funds, the most ranking points, and the television spotlight. The PDC does not create new ones casually, but here is the catch, and I want to be completely honest with you about it. When PDC Europe announced this, they did not name the tournament, they did not give a date, they did not give a venue or a prize fund. Their exact position was that details would be released in the coming weeks, and that for now, nothing about the new major is known. So we have a confirmed major with almost no confirmed details attached to it. That gap is exactly where the speculation has rushed in. If you have followed any of the coverage over the past weeks, you have probably already heard a name, the German Open. Here is the careful truth. That name has not been officially confirmed by the PDC, not once. Every serious outlet reporting on it has said the same thing. German commentators covering the series have flatly acknowledged that, and I am quoting the substance of what they have said. The German Open is obviously what is meant, even though this has nowhere been publicly communicated. That is an unusually honest thing for a commentator to admit, and it tells you where things stand. The name is an open secret that is being treated as inevitable, while remaining, technically, unannounced. Where did the name come from in the first place? It traces back to late May 2026. On a Dutch darts podcast called Darts Draait Door, the former professional Vincent van der Voort raised the whole idea. He was careful. He stressed repeatedly that he was dealing in rumours. He said there would be another televised tournament, but that little was known about it. He was asked whether it might be played in spring, and he said he had no idea. He said he believed it would be in Germany, but that he did not know where exactly. And on the format, he said people were talking about something similar to the UK Open, but that nobody really knew the details and everyone would have to wait and see. Then he added the line that captures the whole situation perfectly. He laughed and said it was all rumours, that it was not as if the PDC chief executive Matt Porter had phoned him to say, "Here is what we are doing." So the name and the shape of this thing began as one retired player's careful speculation on a podcast. Months later, an official announcement confirmed that a new major genuinely exists. The two have been stitched together by the darts community into a single assumption, that the new major is the German Open. That assumption is reasonable. It may well turn out to be exactly right. But until the PDC says the words, it stays an assumption and you deserve to know the difference. There is one more piece of speculation worth exploring because it is the most exciting part for fans. The comparison everyone keeps reaching for is the UK Open. Even Michael van Gerwen has been described as hinting that the new event will be a kind of UK Open for mainland Europe.
And just finally from me, we learned that next year there's going to be a new major in the PDC.
In Germany, yeah.
We don't know anything more about it, the format. We know that you maybe like different formats. Is there anything that you've not played in?
I think it's the same format as the UK Open.
I want to be clear that this is reported as a hint, not a confirmed statement from him, so treat it as commentary rather than fact. But it is worth understanding why that comparison sets darts fans' hearts racing. Because the UK Open is unlike anything else in the sport, so let me walk you through exactly what it is. And everything in this section is fully verified. The UK Open is nicknamed the FA Cup of darts. That nickname is the key to everything. In football's FA Cup, a tiny amateur club can be drawn against the giant of the game, and every so often, the giant falls. The UK Open works the same way. Here is the mechanism. In almost every other major, the top players are seeded and protected. They are kept apart in the early rounds so the biggest names meet at the business end. The UK Open throws that idea in the bin. There is no seeding. Instead, a fresh open draw is made after each round. Any player can be pulled out against any other player at any stage. That means the world number one could, in theory, be drawn against a qualifier from a pub in the very first match they play. It means two of the biggest stars in the world can collide in a round that would normally be a formality. Chaos is built into the design. The field is enormous. In 2026, all 128 PDC tour card holders were entered automatically, joined by the best performers from the development and challenge tours and a set of amateur qualifiers for a field of around 160 players. The pros do not all enter at the same time. They filter in at different rounds depending on their ranking, so the lowest ranked players and amateurs start on the first day and have to fight their way up through the field. The format tightens as it goes. The early rounds are best of 11 legs. From the fourth round through the quarterfinals, it stretches to best of 19. The semi-finals and the final are best of 21. In 2026, the total prize fund was £750,000, with £120,000 going to the champion. That year, Luke Littler won it, beating James Wade in the final. Record holder across its history is Phil Taylor, with 5 titles, and there is a lovely piece of trivia that sums up the tournament's character. Back when Budweiser sponsored the event, Phil Taylor threw a perfect 9 dart leg, and as a reward, the sponsors presented him with 501 bottles of beer, 1 for each point in the leg. Now picture that entire concept transplanted onto mainland Europe, an open draw. Amateurs who climbed up through a club ladder, suddenly standing across the ocean from world champions on a television stage with a real chance of causing an upset. That is why the UK Open comparison has fans so excited. If the new major captures even a fraction of that spirit, it could be special. Just remember the honest caveat. The format has not been confirmed. This is the shape people expect, not the shape that has been announced. Step back, and the logic behind all of this becomes obvious. Germany has quietly become one of the most important markets in world darts. The European Tour already makes multiple stops there every year. The German Darts Grand Prix in Munich regularly draws around 20,000 fans across its weekend. The season-ending European Championship is held in Dortmund. World Series events have packed German arenas repeatedly. At the same time, the PDC as a whole has been on an aggressive growth push. For the 2026 season, it confirmed the largest prize money increase in its history, rising to £25 million in total, a jump of £7 million in a single year. The World Championship prize fund doubled to £5 million, with £1 million going to the winner for the first time. European Tour events rose to £230,000 each, so you have a booming market with passionate crowds and an organisation that is expanding on every front and looking for the next place to plant a flag. A new major built on German soil, fed by a new amateur pathway across the German-speaking region, fits that strategy perfectly. This is not a random idea, it is the logical next step. Now, it would be easy to present this as pure good news, but there is real debate around it, and a good story tells you about the friction, not just the fireworks. There are two lines of criticism worth understanding. The first is broad. Adding a new major means adding to a calendar that is already extremely full. For years now, the PDC has piled on more European Tour events, bigger prize funds, and more international dates. Some voices in the sport worry about player workload and about spreading attention too thin. A new major, however welcome, lands on top of an already crowded schedule. The second criticism is more specific, and it comes from within the system PDC Europe has built. Some of the next-gen players, the young talents already grinding through the existing youth development circuit, have publicly voiced frustration. Their objection is partly about timing and partly about fairness. Through this new Start series, 4 additional places in the Super League are being decided. The Super League matters because it is a route toward the World Championship stage at Alexandra Palace. Here is why that stings for next-gen players. They have already played 10 of their 16 demanding, expensive next-gen tournaments this season, and now they learn there is what looks like an easier side door toward the Super League through this new amateur series. When you have already invested that much, discovering a shortcut for others is going to hurt. But there is a strong counter-argument, and it deserves equal airtime. PDC Europe communicated from the very beginning that the next-gen circuit decides 20 of the 24 Super League places. So in practical terms, nothing is being taken away from the next-gen players. The new Start series is fighting over a much smaller number of spots through a far narrower bottleneck, and crucially, next-gen players are allowed to enter the Start series too. Rather than losing a path, they have effectively been handed a second one. Seen that way, the new series does not diminish the next-gen circuit. If anything, it sits underneath it as a feeder, a broad base that makes the whole pyramid taller. Reasonable people can land on either side of this, and that tension is part of what makes the launch a genuine talking point rather than a simple press release. So let me pull the whole picture together, cleanly, so you know exactly what is real. Confirmed, PDC Europe has launched a new amateur tournament series called PDC Europe Start, covering 8 regions across 5 countries, with €40,000 in prize money and a plan to expand to 3 series a year from 2027. Confirmed, that series feeds into a brand new PDC major tournament. The major is real. The organizer has said so directly. Not yet confirmed. The name of that major, its format, its venue, its prize fund, and its exact date. PDC Europe has said those details are coming in the weeks ahead. Strongly expected but unofficial, that the major will be called the German Open and that it will borrow the open draw spirit of the UK Open. Commentators, including reported hints from top players, are pointing that way. The PDC has not said it. That is the honest state of play. And in a way, that is what makes this moment fun to follow. We are watching a major tournament take shape in real time, in public, with the community filling in the blanks faster than the officials can confirm them. The bottom line is this. After years of the biggest darts nights happening across the channel, mainland Europe is getting a major of its own, with a genuine ladder that runs from an ordinary club night all the way to a professional stage. That much is now certain. The name, the shape, and the date are still to come. When the PDC fills in those blanks, the picture will be complete. Until then, be a little careful with anyone who tells you they know all the details for sure, because right now, officially, they do not. I will be watching for the announcement, and when the real details land, you will hear them here.